A multitude of firsts led to a successful week for your George Mason Patriots. I have the updates and the highlights. My name is Dan Ward, and this is Mason Sports Insider. Let's get things started with the cross-country team. To Newmarket, Virginia, they went where they competed in the James Madison Invitational, and both teams shine bright under the hot sun. Mason had 7 runners finish in the top 10, 5 from the men's side and 2 from the women's side. The men's team finished in first place, while the women's team was able to finish in third. Senior leadership was the name of the game for the men's side, with Adam LaFemina, Brent Coulter, and Dustin Jutras all finishing in the top 10, 3rd, 4th, and 8th respectively. Grayson Morgan and Luke Sharkey also finished in the top 10 for the men. For the women, it was Sierra Donahue and Amber Hawkins once again leading the way, as they did in their first race of the season. Donahue just missed the first place finish, finishing 2 seconds behind the lead runner. Head coach Andrew Gerard was generally pleased, saying, quote, "It was very tough conditions today, but I thought both teams performed well. The men were scattered with some moving up and some moving back, but we did enough to get the win. For the ladies, Sierra put herself at the front nicely and competed well. Amber moved forward late in the race very effectively. The rest packed very well and executed that we had talked about solidly," end quote. The first win of the season and a top 3 finish for the cross-country team should build up their confidence and the confidence of everyone on the team. Now it'll be training season for the next few weeks, as they don't have another race until October 1st, where they will host the Mason Invitational in Leesburg. Now let's turn into the pitch and the men's soccer team. After tying the Longwood Lancers in their first home game of the season, the men had 2 more home games this past weekend, the first against Cornell University. This was a battle between 2 offenses that have struggled in the early part of the season, and it was evident in this game as well. Only 2 shots were registered on goal in the first half, both by Cornell. The Big Red had control of the ball for the majority of the first half, but were unable to get it past the Mason defense and goalkeeper Stephen Krause, who had some very impressive saves. After a scoreless second half, the 2 teams headed for overtime, the second straight overtime game for the Patriots. It wouldn't last long, however, because just 45 seconds in, the Patriots' Graydon Hester was able to find Nylon.
Patriots are attacking. They take a shot. Nylon, game winner!
Tolu Ibakunle picks up his first career assist with Mason and the first career goal for Graydon Hester, as the Patriots pick up their first shutout of the season. The team didn't have much time to celebrate, however, with a quick turnaround against Gonzaga University, a team that entered Sunday afternoon undefeated and trying to break into the top 25 of the NSCAA coaches poll. The Bulldogs entered the match nearly averaging 3 goals a game, but it was the Patriots who struck first in this one. After creating a Bulldogs turnover, Graydon Hester dribbled upfield and passed it off to Henning Dirks. The junior breezed down the sideline and sent across into the box, where Ibakunle elevated over defender, getting his head on the ball and knocking it to the right of the goalkeeper Ben Willis and into the back left corner.
Ball's battled for, headed on goal. Nylon, they find it. Goal for the Patriots.
The goal was the first for Ibakunle as a Patriot, and it allowed the Patriots to control the rest of the first half and take a 1-0 lead into halftime. In the second half, the Patriots continued to apply pressure and move the ball well, but the Bulldogs patiently waited for their opportunity to strike and took advantage of the times they could. They evened the score with a goal in the 61st minute when Grayson Lee found a quick move past the Patriots defense on the end line and delivered a perfect pass to Christo Michelson, who buried a shot into the net from 12 yards out.
Does. Deep inside the box they go. Shots taken, Nylon equalizer. And who else but Christo Michelson sending it to the back of the net.
13 minutes later, Mason gave up the game winner off a set piece by Gonzaga. On a throw-in from the Bulldogs, the ball bounced off the side of a Mason defender and right to an open Ben White, who knocked in a shot from 10 yards out in the middle of the box. That would be all she wrote, as the Patriots fell to the Bulldogs 2-1, giving them their first home loss of the season. When asked about the game, head coach Greg Andrulis talked about stirring up the defense and allowing fewer goals. He said, quote, "We've given up 2 goals in every game other than 1. We have to learn from that. If we don't get better defensively soon, it is going to be a tough corner to turn, but we're going to get better defensively right away," end quote. Now both the head coach and one of the captain leaders of the defense, Elaine Sargent, had a lot to say about the defense getting better. And while this is important because allowing too many goals is not the way to win a soccer game, for me, it really is the offense that needs to get going. Yes, they've scored a goal in every game so far this season, but it's mostly been one goal. They've only had a 2-goal game once against ETSU. It's really not going to cut it if you're the Patriots. They need to score goals. An elite defense will be able to stop another team if you're not scoring goals, but this isn't an elite defense. They're still building. So I don't know what you need to do, but you got to get on it, George Mason Patriots men's soccer. Great job getting the 1 win, but A-10 play is coming up shortly, and goals are going to be needed in order to start winning those games. Now I turn my attention to the women's soccer team, who originally was supposed to play 2 road games, but due to excessive heat, their first game against Georgetown was moved to George Mason University. So the Patriots were playing their 5th straight home game, their longest homestand since 1995. The Patriots were looking for a bounce-back game after suffering a 4-0 loss to Oklahoma last weekend. It was a game of defense through the first 35 minutes as both teams remained scoreless and neither offense really taking control. Then in the 36th minute, the Hoyas struck first with a tap-in goal off a rebound by Crystal Thomas. Thomas added a second goal just before the end of the half to give the Hoyas a 2-0 lead into halftime. The halftime talk didn't help the Patriots as the Hoyas continued their strong start to the season by netting 2 more goals in the second half. The first coming off the foot of sophomore Caitlin Farrell, and the second coming from senior Grace Damaska, who netted her 7th goal of this young season, which is tied for 6th best nationally. But there was a bright side to the Patriots' day because in the 60th minute, senior Sarah Hardison received a perfect chip-in pass from freshman Hugrun Olafsdottir and headed the ball past the Hoyas goalkeeper, thus helping her team avoid back-to-back shutouts. But that would be all she wrote in this one, as the Patriots dropped their 2nd straight game 4-1. Head coach Todd Bramble was disappointed after the game, as expected, but did say, quote, "We'll get recovered from this game and not let this result affect us when we go over to College Park. We'll be ready for that game." And ready they were as the Patriots hit the road for only the 2nd time this season to take on the Maryland Terrapins. The Patriots exploded on offense, scoring a season-high 5 goals en route to a 5-2 victory. They scored 3 goals in the first half from Alex Myers, Aaron Mitchell, and Sarah Hardison. Then they added 2 more in the second half after Maryland had cut the lead to 1, thanks to Myers and Hardison again, giving them both 2 goals in the contest. The assists in this game came from Hardison, Becca Collison, Kyla Williams, and Hugrun Olafsdottir. When we look for the reason why the Patriots were able to have success in this game and so far this season, there are 2 players that stand out. The senior leaders of the team, Sarah Hardison and Alex Myers. After finishing last season as the top 2 goal scorers, the 2 players have found their stride in the first half of this season. This past week, Hardison had 3 goals and an assist, increasing her season totals to 4 goals and 2 assists for 10 points, while Myers added 2 goals to move into second on the team with 3 goals this season and 7 points. This being on a team that has 8 different goal scorers through 8 games. Now the Patriots are now 5-3 on the season, but those 3 losses have come to very tough opponents, Virginia, Oklahoma, and now their most recent game. So their losses are not bad losses. They are playing very good soccer, and this is important. They've come together as a team, bringing in some new parts to go with their veteran leadership, and they're having success right away. We like to see that success sooner rather than later because A-10 play is right around the corner. It seems like they're coming together pretty nicely. This is a team that has been an excellent soccer team since the start of the season, and they look like a real competitor this season. A-10 play coming up soon, so watch out for your George Mason Patriots. Youth and experience was a winning combination for the George Mason women's volleyball team this past weekend that were up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, competing in the Valley Forge Sports Pen Invitational Tournament. Patriots came out strong in the first set and the first match that they played against Howard University, this being the 2nd time that the Patriots faced Howard this season, but their inability to put teams away came up again as they allowed Howard to fight back into the match and ultimately lose 3-1. But they had a quick turnaround playing later that night against Lafayette University, and the Patriots flipped the script, winning 3-1 behind a match-high 16 kills from senior Tiffany Clark to give them their first win of the season. Getting that first win of the season always feels nice, and head coach Jackie Simpson was very happy after the first day of the tournament, saying, quote, "Tonight's win was a great team effort. I am especially proud of how our seniors stepped up and led in critical moments. We have a quick turnaround before we face a tough Bucknell group tomorrow, but I believe our group is ready to go." It took a little bit of time for the team to get going on Saturday in their first game, but when they did, Mason was impossible to stop and orchestrated a 2-set comeback against Bucknell. After dropping the first 2 sets, the Patriots flipped a switch and won the next 3 sets to beat Bucknell 3-2 for their second straight win of the season and their second overall. Their final match was against the host of the tournament, the University of Penn Quakers. Struggling to close out sets hurt the Patriots again in this one, allowing the Quakers to score 5 straight points in the first set to steal that first set 25-23. Mason would take set 2, followed by Penn taking the third, so it set up an all-important 4th set match for the Patriots trying to force the 5th set. It would take 19 ties, 9 lead changes, and 14 extra points to decide a winner in the 4th, with the Quakers stealing the set late again, defeating the Patriots 3-1. Patriots' record overall of the weekend was 2-2, but head coach Jackie Simpson was very proud of her team's play again, saying, quote, "This was a great weekend for our team. Every match was a battle, and we are getting stronger with every point. We had different players come in throughout the weekend and positively impact the flow of the match. Great team effort," end quote. There were multiple players with impressive weekends. Some of the key players in Mason's wins were Tiffany Clark, Katie Espinoza, Michaela Wells, and Bailey Williams. We'll take a look at their stats so that you can see what it led to the Mason success over the weekend. For Tiffany Clark, she totaled 62 kills, 10 blocks, and 30 of those kills were in the team's victories, including a match-high 16 against Lafayette. She also had 7 blocks in the team's victories. So for the season, she is now second on the team with 98 kills and third in total blocks with 21. Katie Espinoza has been phenomenal all year, and she continued it this past weekend where she registered 74 digs, 36 in the 2 victories, defending that back line and setting up her teammates well while always bringing the hustle that she's shown game in and game out. For the season, she by far leads the team in digs with 151 and is second in service aces with 7 after picking up 1 each game this weekend. Meanwhile, the freshman duo of Wells and Williams were dominant yet again. Wells had a weekend that included 48 kills, 35 digs, and a career-high 16 in the win over Bucknell. She leads the team with 112 kills and 8 service aces and is third on the team with 64 digs. Williams, meanwhile, stuffed the stat sheet, picking up 33 kills, 48 digs, and 5 blocks. She had a career-high 15 digs against Howard, and for the season, she is third on the team in kills with 65, second in digs with 71, and third in service aces with 6. You'll have a chance to see these star athletes this Friday and Saturday as they return home to host the Mason Invitational. Now we move on to the George Mason women's tennis team, who opened up their 2016-2017 campaign on a positive note by winning both of their matches in the 9th annual Women's Invitational. Mason bested Howard and Christopher Newport 8-2 and 5-4 respectively. In the morning match, Mason began strong in the doubles by sweeping Howard at all 3 double positions. Sophomore Sydney Green and freshman Rachel Lee defeated the Howard number 1 pair 6-3. Mason's number 2 team of senior co-captain Morgan Yang and sophomore Nicole Hagewood bested Howard easily 6-1. And then Mason's number 3 team won as well with senior co-captain Scarlett Walton and freshman Liz Lowe squeaking by with a 7-6 victory. They continued to show their depth throughout the match and throughout singles play, and then they continued it into Christopher Newport University. This match was much closer, as the score indicates, 5-4, but the Patriots pulled it out, making Director of Tennis Steve Curtis very happy, as he had to say about the team, quote, "It was a great way to start the season. I love the energy and the perseverance of this team. They showed a real team attitude today." So a great start to the season for the Patriots. They will be back in action next week when they travel to Mary Washington for the UMW Fall Classic. And that'll do it for all the updates, but now let's get you to the upcoming schedule, see what you have to look forward to this week. The men's soccer team will compete on Saturday at West Virginia at 7 p.m., while the women's soccer team will have only one game as well Friday at UNCW at 7 p.m. As I just mentioned, the women's tennis team will be going to Fredericksburg, Virginia for the UMW Fall Kickoff Class Saturday and Sunday. So your chances to see the women's volleyball team will be here at home, hosting the Mason Invitational. Friday they will play Bryant University at 7 p.m. Then they'll have 2 games on Saturday. First they'll play at 2 p.m. against Hampton, and then they'll be playing Loyola at 7 p.m. Be sure to come on out and support. If you can't make it to the home games, tune in and watch them live on Mason Cable Network, channel 8.1. So that'll do it for this week's episode of Mason Sports Insider. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching on Mason Cable Network, go to YouTube and subscribe to Mason Cable Network for more Mason Sports Insider and MCN shows. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to chat, you can also reach out to me on Facebook and on Twitter. My Twitter handle being shown on the screen at Dan_Ward_11. This was Mason Sports Insider. So long, God bless, and go Patriots.